Alright, I was looking through my notebooks and I found this book. It's a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book I made called Summer Days. Such a creative name. And yeah, this is just boring stuff. And right here, Greg is saying there's a girl in his class named Samantha. She's fat, she's ugly, and every time she sits, he thinks his tights are gonna rip. And Samantha comes at his door with her parrot. Hello. Hello. Change my diaper. No. Change me. Nuh-uh. I should change you! Eventually, Grandma stopped being in a trance and Greg's mom said they're having a block party. During the block party, his dad's pants ripped, so they threw them in the fire. That's not what you do. And then Greg's best friend, Rowley, threw a toilet paper roll in it. And they squirt silly string all over Greg. And a bottle of spray paint, you mean silly string, was empty, then it blasted into the fire, and then there's a gas blasting. Then it went boom. Okay, and then she's cleaning up, and then here's when the book gets down. Then they were having fun with Granny Buckberg, and she was asleep, put against the window. Then she fell out the window, the roof, and fell in the hot tub. But Granny Buckberg is huge. Once he was having a picnic, Granny Buckberg rolled down the hill. Okay, why would he be having a picnic with Granny Buckberg? And did Granny Buckberg all of a sudden grow? And to Manny, she's ginormous. But once Granny Buckberg was trying to jump over the Hudson River and she fell in. Okay, now she's bigger than a car. Once Granny Buckberg was jumping, she fell through the floor. But now she's sleeping, and Greg had let her rope and ripped off Granny Buckberg's hair. Okay, who would do that for no reason at all? I'm going to kill you. Oh, and right, did I forget to mention someone put a snake in Greg's couch? And then Greg clicked a pop-up and ton stuff started popping up. It has nothing to do with the book. All Diary of a Wimpy Kid books I read, the books actually have plots. And Greg hears of a sea monster, so he decides to look for it. And the sea monster's in the lake, and this has to do with nothing whatsoever. But Greg saw a cool water bug that glows in the dark, and it guides his way. What type of species is that? It was just a rusty old boat covered with algae. Why are there barnacles in a lake? I think I'm diving too deep into science, and then Greg is going up. Since when were those eyes in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book? Then Greg and Rowley start making hot tubs, and Greg is being mean to Rowley like he always does in the books. I really shouldn't say be mean, but being mean. And he poured baking soda and vinegar in the hot tub, and that made it go like that. Okay, that does not make the water hot. And when they were going to the zoo, Roderick says, "Toot along, turtle." Why? Okay, and how does the turtle understand what he's saying? Then Manny's favorite animal at the zoo is a porcupine, and he likes it because it dances. And Greg's mom likes the groundhogs and she says, "Oh, it's so fat." And Greg looks depressed as always, and his mouth. And Greg went to take a picture of a panda, but it kept ignoring. So he just went over the fence end of the monkey cage and swung from vine to vine. And he landed in front of the mom panda. And she started squeezing him. How are the security guards at the zoo not noticing this? And then the panda took a picture of him, as if pandas would know how to use a camera. And then Greg sees a chipmunk and then starts chasing it. And he says, "I know you're in there." And then started going high. So he climbed up the tree, which doesn't look like a big tree. When I made it inside the evergreen, apples were falling and a bald eagle was pecking at its head. Yeah, it's definitely illegal to have a bald eagle next to you. And why are there apples in a pine tree? Then he used a levitation trick. That's right, a trick. How does that work? And he was getting out of control. Okay, how the hell does that magic trick work? And he sees the chipmunk, and then it turns out to be a flying squirrel. And Greg still wants to catch it, so he jumped and fell into the thing that he and Rowley made. Okay, in this book, Greg is such an idiot. I know he's stupid in some Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, but he's pretty stupid in this one. Then today's Greg's birthday, and they were going to buy the pinata, and then they chose Mr. Packing Bubbles. Don't you mean Miss? Then the police shot Mrs. Packing Bubbles with a police gun because he was scared. I couldn't be making this up if I wanted to. Oh wait, I did make this when I was little. And then Raleigh got a gunny pig, which is a guinea pig. I didn't know how to spell. And the two of them were Biba and Bum. And if you remember the snake that was in the couch that some people put in there, well, then that happens. And when the hamster wheel and it broke. And then the snake was chasing after them. But at least he survived. And one of your pet hamsters just died. And he then got a giant tummy stuff. And he's trying to fit into it when he's playing hide and seek. Okay, Greg is supposed to be a middle schooler. This book is making him look like he's like a 7-year-old. Wow, Manny is huge now. And then Roderick then rolls on him. Then his older brother Roderick had kicked him and he shot out the window. And then Tummy Stuffer hung from a tree when he was in it. Okay, Roderick must have one hell of a force. Now it's Holly's house and he says that Holly's better at drawing than him. No, she's not. It's not even cheerleader. What is that? And he's so jealous that he actually rips the papers into pieces. Then this happens. His tummy stuffer falls. Okay, if the branch broken, then that's seriously not good. And they're going to the aquarium. And Greg likes the room full of jellyfish because it looks like a lava lamp. And Greg likes the camouflage tank. Okay, that face is making me uncomfortable. And Roderick liked the octopus, except it kept camouflaging. He's like, where did he go? And the octopus is right there. And Greg then realized his room was so messy because a bucket of potatoes spilled. Why would you have potatoes in your room? And then he locked it in the shed. Why would you have potatoes in your shed? And in the shed, Greg found a toilet cat, and he says when he was little, he found it creepy. Oh, so creepy. And he found a Mr. Potato Head glued to a box of linking logs. Like, that makes sense. And one time for Greg's birthday, then she gave him a garbage box. Do you like a garbage box? And there were other gifts, but there was just junk in there. So then he realized he had to do an alphabet book, so he wrote it, like, right there, see? And there's all this stuff. Makes no sense. And yeah, just so weird. The P was plucked. That's from Timothy Green. Oh my god, I just forgot that movie existed. And it's just garbage. And Greg didn't want to finish, but he changed one. The S got spanked in the butt. Okay, now here's a part in this book that was completely stolen from an episode of Clarence. See, they were gonna travel through a desert to go to Sheep's Bridge. Now, see, and then there's Heather. Then there's Greg, Quig, which is a character I made up. And then there's Holly and Rowley. Can you help me open this mail? Then chaos happened in the car because Rowley's kicking seats. And Quig vomited. Then after a few hours, it got really hot. And they finally made it to Sheep's Bridge at midnight. And they found a hot tub because who builds a hot tub in the middle of the desert? This is ridiculous. Okay, then right there it's July, but it was crossed out because I already said July right there. And then Greg is going to Granny Buckberg's mansion because she won the lottery 17 times.
Congratulations, people, except you, Greg. I hate you.
Okay, I don't even want to know what's in that picture right there. She hated Greg so much she locked him in the bad kid's room. Then at 12 a.m. he had to escape. Why are there cracks in the vent? Then Greg felt a bump because he was over a room, and the vent fell, and he was in a snake room. Greg survived, but he had to go to the bathroom, so he went over to the bathroom, and the toilet seat flung off, as if a golden toilet seat would fling off so easily. Then he was crawling through the air vents again. Then the vent had landed into Granny Buckberg's room. Then Greg had to climb down quietly with those long arms. Then Greg was tiptoeing around the hallway of the mansion. Jesus, is this a mansion or a temple? I screamed out of the room and back in the hallway, but right next to Granny Buckberg's room, and she woken up. And Greg was running.
I saw dead.
Why are the taxidermic heads happy? He scrammed into the hereest room, and it was called the stuff room. And then Greg grabbed everything he could find and armored himself up, even with a loaded shotgun, as if that would be in a closet.
What a mess. Whoever did this is so dead.
Why is he holding a loaded shotgun? I know I brought that up earlier, but is he gonna kill Granny Buckberg if she goes into him? Then when Greg went to the next room, he wishes he didn't.
There you are.
Then everyone in Granny Buckberg's mansion was chasing after him, and it does not look like he's running. Greg hid behind something that led to a tube to lava. and it was also by an air vent. So he took off all his armor and dumped it down in the tube. Why is there lava in your house? Jeez, Granny Buckbird, your house is like a death trap. And the book ends. Yep, that's all of it, because I ran out of paper in the book, probably because I was using the paper for other stuff I drawn.